You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network. Visit pencilandpaperproductions.podbean.com to find more great podcasts.
Welcome to the Palace of Megapixels. This is Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I'm your host, Stephen White. With me, as always, is my co-host, Lacey Finley.
Happy Monday and Thanksgiving week and all of the things that hopefully you enjoy. You'll be able to via a screen or
I'm going to enjoy this week thoroughly because I'm not at work today.
Ooh, you got the whole week, did you?
That's
or
right.
just Monday?
No, the whole week because I had
Nice.
some extra vacation time thanks to Corona. I shouldn't really thank coronavirus for that.
Trying
but,
to find the silver lining in some cases.
I had extra, so I was like, you know what? I've never taken a week off for Thanksgiving, so I'm going to do that.
There you
I'm
go.
going to enjoy it, or at least try it.
There you go.
Hopefully I can.
I'm sure you
I don't
will.
see any reason why I couldn't.
Sometimes your day just starts better knowing you don't have to get up and go anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Like, just, I'm even trying to get into a mindset because yesterday and today are going like every other weekend. But in my head, I have to say, hey, you're not going to work tomorrow.
Right?
And it's not sunk in for some reason. Like the entire day Friday, I was just dancing. I was like, yeah, I ain't coming to work next week. I ain't coming to work next week.
Yeah.
And I was just all excited. But mentally, it's not sunk in yet for whatever reason. I guess because the routines are still the same.
Sure.
And the idea is that this week I'm going to be busy, focused on things that I need to get focused on.
Mm-hmm.
But something tells me I won't. I hope that's not the
It
case.
always seems like when you got more time, less things get done, or at least for me.
I really hope that's not the case. I hope at least the 3 main days that I'm going to be off, that I took extra, I can really focus in on trying to do the things that I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
See how it
we
goes.
will see. Mm-hmm. So you got anything you've been thinking about? Anything you wanna bring up?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like maybe those deep thoughts, like through the week, tend to get less and less.
Mm-hmm.
Although, maybe finally I'll bring up one thing that's not it.
Okay.
Why is it, in some cases, that people feel like they get the best results out of another human by just yelling and being mean?
I don't know.
I don't understand why in a lot of people's brains, especially I feel like in a supervisor position, that have you yielded amazing results this whole time from just being a jerk and making the other person feel like an idiot? Have you seen a jump in productivity and efficiency and morale? Have you? I'd love a tally.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see.
I
I know that it's not the best approach.
No. I've never felt, you know what, I'm raring to go now after that. Yeah, you're right. Thanks for showing me the error of my ways.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you berate them, even if you don't yell at them, if you make them feel like shit in any way, shape, or form, because you can do it with the biggest smile on your face and just sit there and dog somebody out. The moment you do that, I mean, you've pretty much crushed them, and they're just like, I don't really care about this anymore. I'm just not going to do anything.
Not even a little bit. Yep.
Same goes for not getting recognition.
Right?
When you bust your ass for a company, and the people in charge don't recognize that, and give you a little something in return for it, for all your hard work and dedication to a company for 13 years. I'm going off on a tangent.
like we both might have been, it's like, so that might have been the one thing like non-gaming related that kept popping up this week where I'm like, really? I'd love to know how shaking employees' confidence would really just like help skip productivity on an all-time high. Now, I'm not going to say this is a rampant issue. I'm too new.
Yeah.
I just had one incident where I'm like, really, that's how you thought it was going to be helpful in this situation? And still didn't give me the answer I needed. Cool.
No, of course
cool,
not.
cool. It's
So-
all around.
I've got a few things I want to bring up. Try to go through some of these real quick. I want to bring this up for people who might not know because we kind of discovered it this week, and that's Auntie Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun.
Yes.
This might not be for everybody. I feel
Definitely
like this
not. That does come with a waiver.
Yeah, this is a love it or hate it because I showed a clip to you. I showed a clip to Todd. I showed a clip to Katrina. All three of you got the same clip.
Okay.
You two laughed incredibly hard. Like, you're just like, oh my God, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
And then Katrina watches it and says, what the hell is this?
And that's a fair response.
Right. So
I can't say I did say that too through my
2
laughter.
out of 3. 2 out of 3
Yeah.
agreed. It was funny. And then one just like, no, not for me.
Right.
So she tuned out as I watched this show on Netflix. They are on YouTube. I don't know why my brain was shutting down.
It's early.
And then, of course, they've done stuff for years. I will say that if, I've heard of them, as I was kind of telling you before the show, I've heard of them. I was aware of them. There's a podcast I listened to called The Weekly Planet. They talk about them a lot, but it was just something I never decided to dive into. And then this came along, their Netflix show. I thought, all right, well, apparently they're doing something right, so I'll give them a shot. Again, it's not going to be for everybody.
Right.
But give it a shot. If you can watch it, I'd say even start off on their YouTube page. Go there, find a few clips.
Yeah.
See if the humor is to your liking, and then go from there. If you don't find it funny, then
the show's not going to be any different.
Yeah. I would say
Not at all.
the clip that I showed, the straw, who was it? The
Stray Man.
Stray Man.
Stray Man, yeah.
Go watch that clip on Netflix. If that makes you laugh uncontrollably, then you're in.
Then
if
dive
not,
in, yeah.
Then just go.
Yeah, because it
about your
definitely
business.
doesn't. The
worry
humor doesn't change.
Right, exactly. That's about as insane and hilarious as it gets.
Right.
Another thing I wanted to bring up was, and this is just kind of in passing, but Todd asked me the other day. He's like, "Hey, how's Man Cave doing on Amazon?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just kind of stopped looking, because not that I don't care, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
The numbers are out there. The show is out there. I just never thought to look. I got a full list of the numbers for the last 12 weeks. And I guess that's about how long it's been up, give or take. Maybe it's been since September, isn't it?
That sounds about right, yeah.
And you have to break it down, and I had to break it down in my head. 3,000 minutes. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That is the equivalent of watching the first season 33 times.
Okay.
And I also got numbers on a daily. We've got a few UK watchers,
Ooh.
but I won't say that they are consistent. I guess they're just like, this humor is
Yeah, the
not for
humor
me.
from there to here, definitely. There's a difference.
I would love to see how it would perform in Germany or Japan if we could find someone to translate.
For localization services, yeah.
Because I'm really curious. But, UK audiences, fair enough. But in the U.S., there have been... It's interesting because you'll find someone watched an episode because you can kind of usually tell it's about 16 minutes or maybe even 9 minutes because that could be the first episode of season 1. So you see like these little blips.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see like someone binge the entire thing because it'll be like 200 and some odd minutes in a day. and it could be multiple people. I don't know.
Right.
But
Not calling a survey or
yeah.
anything.
But it's just interesting to see how it's. I don't know who's watching, but
thank you. Yeah.
yes, people are watching, and I'm hoping it'll find its audience, and continuing to see that people are watching.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a view count on YouTube. The minutes for me mean so much more than a view, because a view can be 3 seconds on YouTube and they count it as a view.
Right.
You know, oh, well, I'm done. I clicked away. Okay, well, you didn't watch it then, did you?
Mm-hmm.
But here I get to see how many minutes it retains someone's attention. And it gives me some comfort in knowing people are watching.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just one episode, you gave it a shot, and I appreciate that.
Right.
And then how Super Mega Crash Adventures may fare on the platform and find its audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm a little excited to see how this goes.
It's falling in front of people, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping, because if I could get more people, if you have an Amazon account, you can go rate the show. You know,
Yeah, you
just give it a little bit of a rating there. And we actually have, I don't think I've mentioned this here, we do have an IMDb page.
Yes.
With cast, crew, trivia. The trivia is a little light because I'm trying to, it's been a while. I'm trying to remember things that happened that would be interesting to bring up. But they do. I love this feature. At first, it wasn't all of them. It was just one. But now, if someone happens to stumble upon our IMDb page, it will link you to the episode. So if you go through our episode list, you can click on, it says watch now with Amazon or Prime Video or whatever. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, there's
nice
all these
and convenient
little attachments and whatnot. But yeah, I'm kind of excited to see where that goes. We'll see. And thirdly, and this is just something that I stumbled across this morning, and I'm gonna try to limit how I say this because I guess I did technically sign an NDA.
Ooh, yeah, gotta uphold those.
Yeah. So I took a survey this morning. I won't say for what or I won't say for who, but it was just before it even got started. It was like you gotta say that you're not gonna say anything. You can't be taking pictures. You can't be doing this. You can't be doing that. And I'm like, all right, calm down. And I said, well, this is gonna be great.
Right?
No.
The
the options they presented before me about something they're thinking about doing, it was just like, this is it. This is what you don't want anyone to know about this. This sounds like some stuff you're already kind of doing, but then, okay, well, and
all right.
they were just like, what do you think about this? Would you be interested? And I was like,
Right.
I was like, I mean, if you do it, that's great. I mean, I would enjoy it if you did, but if you don't, I mean,
I haven't been clamoring for it or anything, right?
Because it really was that. It's like, well, how would you feel if we did do this? How would you feel if we don't do this? I was like, on every time we don't, I was like, I'm neutral.
Right. I'm the worst person to ask.
Yeah. It's like, you do you, and if maybe I'll come back and maybe I won't.
Yeah. Let me see the final product and I'll let you know yay or nay. How's that?
Sure.
Let's get this middle
But see,
step.
I didn't spoil anything. I didn't tell you
you
who
didn't.
it was.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
Exactly. Finally, I did want to bring this up because I think this would be cool. And when I get some information about when it does officially release, if you would go check it out, I would appreciate it. I'm sure they would appreciate it too. I got to participate in I guess it would be considered a radio play of sorts called The Further Adventures of the Black Whip.
Like a serial?
Like a radio serial about this character known as the Black Whip, which is, in fact, from what I've heard, a real radio character from way back when. So this guy, TJ Moore, he was trying to revive the character for this purpose. Apparently had been sitting on this for like 18 years, the script, which, I mean, when he said that, I was like, you know what? It took me 10 years to write one. So I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. And I guess maybe he was looking to do this in different ways or something like that. And then I guess with COVID
sometimes
and
you know the struggle of trying to get people together to get a thing finished too. So
sure. So he decided he would approach it, radio serial perspective, whatever it was, and then he got everybody together. We kind of did like a group reading of this thing. I play the Marshal. I'm Marshall Weatherby. Yes. All right. I really wasn't sure if my voice was, like, if I was going to do it right, because in the moment you're just like, what was the voice I did? Was it right? And I was just sitting here thinking, so I just turned on the deep voice and I'm like, yes, I am. I'm the Marshal. All right. What are we doing? Oh, yeah, we're looking for the Black Whip. Yes, the Black Whip. And I wasn't sure that I was doing it well enough, but I didn't get any notes.
That's usually how you know you're doing good.
Yeah, he's like, you're doing great. And then I actually messaged him to make sure it would be okay to bring this up, because I didn't know.
Sure.
Because maybe he was just like, hey, no, don't tell anybody.
Not yet. Yeah.
I don't know. But he said, no, it'd be fine. But he did start off with, you did great. And I was like, perfect. Great.
There you go. Yeah.
So I'm waiting to hear back from another audition I did for something else in the same vein, but it's more like a 1970s detective noir thing. And I auditioned for 4 different roles to see if something would stick.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I find out when this comes out or where it's coming out,
let us know. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious to hear how it comes together, because a lot of the people who were working on it, they have credits to their name. I'll just say that. Like I won't say they're humongous. Like, oh my God, like
but
the
you
biggest.
Might have heard something.
Yeah, like they're indie actors. You see them. They're performing here and there. There was one guy on there, and I told you this. I can't remember his name right offhand without digging it up, but he has a legit credit. He's going to be a voice, not a main character voice, but he's got a voice in Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
The upcoming video game. So I was like, dude, that's cool. And you could tell he was, he's been doing this stuff or been trying. He actually did visual effects for Daredevil on Netflix, which I was like,
wow.
dude.
Yeah.
His IMDb isn't big, but there are impressive credits on it. So he's been working his way through, or at least trying. So
yeah.
But yeah, there's some good people. If we get a chance to work with them, there was one. I'll just say this: there was one person in the cast that I'm considering reaching out to for Super Mega Crash Adventures. I'll just say
prowl.
that. Yeah. So I'm considering that, but I won't say much more than that, because got to get through the next 2 episodes, and we'll get there. We'll go
from there.
Yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, that's all I got. So what you been playing?
All right. Well, this week a new FMV came out, or at least I got around to playing it, from Good Gate Media, and of course Wales Interactive for the publisher. They always grab onto it. It was called 5 Dates. I didn't go digging around to see if there was any hullabaloo around this one, I'll be honest, because I was like, meh, whatever. If people are angry, they can do it without me reading it. I don't know. But, yeah, TLDR, you play one guy that they're trying to learn how to date during a pandemic. So everything's like a digital dating kind of thing, which it might be a thing. I don't know. I successfully got to skip that whole generation of needing an app to go on dates and things like that. Not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just thankful I didn't have to learn it. That's all.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's 5 women that you could go on a date with, and you set up your profile. You're always the same dude. Your age is always set, but you get to decide, like, out of a certain set of careers or your interests or even your star sign, which it can affect, I guess, how the conversations go with some of the women or whatever. And then, so I've successfully dated all of them. I haven't gone back to make all of the bad decisions, because the game itself was only like an hour. Because you pick 3 women to start, and then you only whittle it down to just like the one where you get the 3rd and final date. Do you exchange real digits, or do you stay on the app? Like, do we actually get to date or whatever? But I mean, it was kind of cute. I could see how people would find it a little lame. But again, we're talking to me. I can lead into the tomfoolery of a lot of these things, I thought they handled a couple situations in it rather well. And then The rest of it, I think, was just kind of it was cutesy. You got to make a couple of choices. You played a couple of games. You got to know the ladies. It never got untoward or gross or anything like that, which was nice that it wasn't all just degrading them or doing anything like that. And yeah, I mean, I think it was like $10 if you're looking for a new FMV with a little bit of tomfoolery in there. There you go. I enjoyed it. It was fun for a once through. I got to go back and make the bad decisions now, of course, and see how that ends up with anything. But nothing seemed like really bad decisions, like you would have to pay attention to how she reacted when you said a certain thing to see if you were like going down the right path, so you had your party chica and you had your older one who was just ready to settle down and wanted to actually do her career and have her life. An influencer, you got to date an influencer.
How fun was that?
She ended up fine. I don't know. There was only one, Shayna. She was really cool. Like, honestly, if I were legitimately choosing out of all of the women, it would have been Shayna. Hands down. Got her stuff together in healthcare. She knows what she wants. She's a gamer. Let's go.
I mean, that sounds like a dream woman right there.
She was great. She was great. She was actually the first one I chose, too, out of all of them, simply because she was the older one. Because I was like, well, if we get too young, will it be like one of those things where I get kind of annoyed because I don't know how to explain it,
No,
like
but,
we probably all did it when we were teenagers, but then you're just like, nah, I don't want to hear it now,
Yeah.
But it was fine. There was none of that teeny bopper weirdo jealousy craziness or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. It's one of those where it's like I recommend it because I'm into FMV. And it was a fun one time through, but I don't know. I haven't checked Twitter. I don't know if I'm supposed to be mad about it.
They can go to hell.
I don't know. But you fall into it. It was fun. And then I finally beat one time through with the ironclad on Slay the Spire. I probably shouldn't admit how many hours I have in this game for being nowhere near as far along as I'm sure most people are at the amount of hours they've got. I think I just have to come to terms with I'm not good at this game, and it's just not one that my brain knows how to just figure out and do well.
But you want to do well.
This is why there's so many hours. But I think it's just I've got to come to terms with it. Like, it's a lot of hours for having like really beaten the heart with two characters. It's really too much, but I keep doing it anyway. I think my problem is just I need to slow down and have more patience and actually like do math. Like, if I throw these cards out and they hit me back, do I have enough health to withstand it? Or do the math, do I have enough to kill them now, kind of thing. I like to go too fast. That's probably my biggest downfall. Even knowing this, I still play it the same way every time and get mad.
But you've acknowledged it. You just need to come to grips with it and
actually follow through, right? Instead of just being like, God damn it, nobody can do this, and then go look online. I'm Ascension level 20, and I'm like, I'm just trying to get out of regular too. So these hints and tips, I don't know, but yeah. And then my Fallout shelter's fine. They're still clicking along. Did all the Halloween-y stuff and got my lunch boxes.
So how many people do you have now?
I think I'm at 127.
Oh, so you got a pretty big shelter.
Like, it's to the point now I don't really know what to do with the extra people. Like, I just put them in and they start training whatever their special is, but then I don't really have anywhere to put them once they're full up. So I have a lot of low level, like level 10 on every special people, but the problem is they're like level 1 to 10.
Yeah.
And all the quests that I have left start at like level 40. So I like legit don't even know what to do with these people. I just let them take a coffee break and wander around because there's nowhere for them to work.
Send them out.
But I can't. That's what I mean. The quests are like level 40 and up, and they're between 1 and 10. They don't even show up.
Can't they just wander the wastelands? I mean, just go.
Oh my God, I
exploring.
totally forgot about that feature.
Yeah,
In my head, I had it. Oh, we switched to quests. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I think you're right. I haven't
Yeah.
even checked that.
Just kick them out, make them go out there and bust some ass, and just make sure
Oh my
they're armed
God.
to the teeth.
How embarrassing. I've been playing it this whole time and totally forgot about that one thing. I've just been invested in the questing.
No. Just make them go explore, and then when
Gosh,
they're doing all right, send them home.
And that was like the first thing you could do before quests were
Mm-hmm.
even introduced. Yeah. All right. That's a good plan. Because, I mean, they're good to go, man. They're
Yeah.
high on everything because I've just kind of just swapped them to rooms just
Mm-hmm.
to give them something to do. I don't even have people making babies anymore. I'm like, we're good. Like, I don't know what else I would do with you people. I don't even have anything new to unlock to build. So it's just kind of like maintaining at this point.
Yeah.
We've got enough food, water, electricity. I got people going out. I'm like, all right. It's
Like,
just
here
a
we
check
are.
in on them like 10 minutes a day kind of thing. And then I leave them be until the next day.
Mm-hmm.
But what have you been playing?
Oh boy, let me tell you what I've been playing. I beat Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Nice.
it's done. I put my time and effort into it, and it all paid off. I feel like it did, because all the times that I was going after these shrines, and Todd's just like, just go ahead, don't worry about it, and just keep going, play it. No. I got all the shrines, and I got the original Zelda gear, or Link gear, I guess you should say, the hat, the
The
tunic.
OG days.
So, and then after I got it, I was like, no. We're going to go a step further. We're going to upgrade this to the max. Okay, so whatever I can do to upgrade this to its maximum potential, that's what I'm going to do. Like I did all my other armors. Because the enemies can beat your ass pretty hard in that game. But then when you have the armor like I had, bah, you can take a lick.
Like nothing.
And it felt great. So then when I went to fight Ganon, it was just, I was
Easy
there.
peasy.
I was there. And let me tell you, because I haven't really touched on this about the game. Obviously, it's about exploring and whatnot, but the music in that game is just something spectacular, because they really play with like a piano tune that I hadn't really noticed before, like in other Zelda games, because it's usually the big, you kind of get big and symphonic with it. But here they use subtle touches with a piano. So, like, you could just be exploring, and then there's just a little piano, ballad kind of come up and just kind of accent what's going on. It doesn't continue to play, it just kind of accents what's going on. And then maybe at nighttime, another little piano tune will come up. And then if something kind of gets big and disastrous, boom, 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 it'll do that. But when I got into the castle, I think Twilight Princess the last time was one of those, because I can't remember Skyward Sword offhand, but I remember in Twilight Princess they kind of reprised a different or a similar tune from, I think it was Ocarina of Time, but then it was more symphonic and slow, and just you could just hear it and it was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. I love what you're doing with this tune that we're already familiar with, but now you're putting a new spin on it. But here they play with some of those notes, but then it was a great tune. Like, it made me feel like this is it. We're in for the long haul, and there's danger, adventure, disaster, but this is the end game, and I'm on it. And I loved it.
Nice. Well, hats off to the sound design team.
And I think the beauty of the castle too was, I guess like every other thing, you had a map of what the castle was, but you could go wherever in the castle. Like, your approach, as long as you could make it, you get up that thing however you want. There was no through line to get to Ganon. It was just like, he's right here, and you just got to get there.
Figure it out. Yeah.
Yep. And I was like, all right, cool. So that was fun. After that, once I beat that, then I had a toss-up. Now...
Well, I already know what you're supposed to be playing. I can
know
hear
what I'm
Todd
supposed to be.
crying now.
Yeah, I know. But I started, since this was like,
I almost called you out on Twitter when I saw that tweet, by the way, when you were talking to Mammoth, like, oh, I need to play it. I almost was like, at Todd, and I was just going to leave it.
Exactly right.
Just to be a brat. But I was like, all right, maybe not. I don't know.
But just because it was kind of like, I'd already had a taste, and I was just like, oh, I just need a little bit more, just a little bit more. I played some Spider-Man Miles Morales on PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Because I got a taste of it from Todd on 5.
Sure.
And because of that, I only played that evening after I beat Breath of the Wild. So I played for a good amount to kind of get familiar with it and play around with it and just have some fun with it. Maybe play a little ways into the game. I didn't get too far. I just wanted to do some of the combat and see how it played and whatnot. But I can honestly say I can tell the difference in the two consoles, because
well, I hope so.
The level of detail, it looks great on PlayStation 4. Don't get me wrong, but there's that extra added detail the 5 had, even load speeds.
Yeah.
That it was just like, I don't want to play this here. I know I have it here, but I'm going to put it down so I can save it for what I wanted to save it for. In the big grand scheme of things, should I ever get a PlayStation 5 in this century, which I will at some point.
I'm sure. Give it like a year.
Yeah, it's just, it's not happening anytime soon. People are crazy.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
fine.
the bots. But don't get me on that tangent. But
Right.
it was enough. Like, I know I could sit there and play it, and I could probably play it again on PlayStation 5, but it was just like, for now, I'm just going to set it aside. If I finish whatever else I'm playing and I want to come back to it, fine, because it may be months before I get a PlayStation 5, so who knows?
Right.
But it was enough for me to just be like, all right, let's set it aside. So the next day,
Well, good for you. I don't know if I could do that. It'd be like, now that it's in my hands, totally accessible. I don't know, man.
yeah. But because of that, and I did have another game to play, I did shift to Ghost of Tsushima. And I'm in love with this game. I've
heard only great things.
It's really good.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what I can say about it that hasn't already been said. It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
I'm glad to see that the combat is not what I thought it was going to be. Just in regards to where we thought it was going to be Dark Souls-ish or whatnot.
Sure. Yeah.
I can say it's a little bit hack and slashy, but there is, like, if you want to survive, you need to be a little bit mindful about what you're doing, because you're going to be surrounded. You have multiple types of enemies. You got shield bearers, you got swordsmen, you got archers, and the beauty of it is that you have these different stances. Like, I think it's all like sun, moon, wind, I don't remember, water, but each stance helps you with a particular fighter. So you're going to need, so if you have like a shieldsman or a shield bearer in front of you, and then you have a swordsman over here, and then you've got a brute to your left, you're going to have to shift your stance as you fight. And it seems a little bit complicated, but once you kind of get into a rhythm, you know exactly what you're doing. So you could like slash down the shield bearer, and then before you turn around, you're shifting your stance, and then you're ready to face the swordsman. And then once you're done with him, you shift your stance again, and then you focus in on that guy. So there's a rhythm to it that's very fluid. And I appreciated that it's not just like, well, now I got to do this, and oh God, I'm just, it's very fluid that you can just continue to fight, you know, no problem. Plus, this is one of those games that I feel like they give you options on how you want to approach things in a way that I don't feel like a lot do. Like, you're a samurai, and you're supposed to be with honor, and you fight head on. But then you're introduced to this stealth mechanic, which is very un-samurai-esque.
Right.
So, and they even kind of point that out. Like, this was very interesting. Like, the moment they kind of push you into this, stealth mode, because it's like a story beat. And it's just like, this is not my way. And they're just like, well, right now, this is the only way you got.
Right.
So you're going to have to either adopt this or not. Now, from that point on, that's up to you. Mm-hmm. But there was a moment, like, I was taking care of a side mission. And I did this without thinking because it's something you do in video games. I was trying to fight off these archers. I looked down, and there was one right below me, and then it said assassinate. So I just hit that button, and I leapt onto that dude and, like, jammed him with my blade. Mm-hmm. And there was, like, this memory flash, like, instantaneously, where you were remembering a conversation with your uncle was like a samurai strikes, head on, face first, and it was just
so
like
it's
it was
like already berating you for not doing it.
Yeah, and I was like
under the code or whatever.
Exactly, and I was like, aw.
Aww.
So I just felt I was like, but I didn't mean to. Oh gosh. So that option to do it however you want, because you even have like this standoff option where you face off and then just slash, and those are very cool. If you screw up, you're gonna die pretty quick, but it's all about.
But it's there.
It's all about timing.
Yeah.
But it's I like how that's an option. So if you go into an enemy camp, you can sneak around, you can stab, or you can just be like, come on, stand off right now, let's go. And then you can fight them that way. Whatever you want to do.
Nice.
So I like that option. And even more so, this is something I think game designers have forgotten, and I love about this game, is all those little tropes that we hate in other games, they found a way to remove them. For example, we don't have a stamina meter. Now, he will run out of breath at some point and be like, whew, like that, but you don't have a stamina meter to where it's just like, oh my God, I can't run and all that crap.
Where you have to walk for like 5 seconds to wait for it to fill back up.
The controls are not so precise about every little detail where it's just going to throw you this way, throw you that way, because it's not super realistic in that regard. When, how you have those story missions where you have to walk with someone, the characters actually move.
Nuh-uh.
They move with
They like keep up with you?
Oh my God. The moment you run, they run, and they stay ahead of you.
All
Yes.
right.
I
You
was like, oh my
already
God,
get like
thank
Game of
you.
the Year for that right there.
Yeah. Oh my
That's
God,
been
yes.
biggest beef with like those kind of escort quests. I'm like, damn it. Can't
Yo,
you at least
God.
walk as fast as me? At least.
Yeah. At least. Yeah,
Yeah.
but oh my God. That's been like the biggest thing I'm so excited about, because you're going to have that conversation going to where you got to go. But guess what? We can run there. I'm not having to sit there and slowly walk. Now, they kind of do those at the beginning of a quest, kind of getting you, positioned where you're going to go, depending on where you're at. But once you're gone, like you're on your path, go.
Done.
Run. Get on your horse. Run. Whatever you got to do. Go, go, go. And I'm just like, thank you, God.
Right? See, it's just those little things.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I would say that kind of, it's a minor irritant, but it's something that you can just kind of be mindful of, is it has, those games where, say you're trying to run, and this is a good thing, mind you, you'll run up onto a bridge or a rock or something like that, and it kind of positions you there, like if you were to jump to this, and then it just kind of takes you there, which is a good thing, but also it can do this thing, like if you're standing on a rock ledge or something, and you're like, just go, get, and it just kind of sticks there. It's like, no, I can't jump. And it's like, no, you're going to jump off the fucking rock. It's only a foot down. Just get off.
Right?
So
I could do this in real life. Let's go.
Yeah. So it's one of those minor little quibbles, but overall, the freedoms and the things that they're not trying to force in just for the sake of realism, it's like, oh, thank you. You
Right.
run
Yeah,
through
yeah.
a forest full of trees, and your horse is like weaving through. It's like, nope, it doesn't bother me. I'm not going to hit a tree. Unless you run to a damn cliff, he's just not going to jump off. But if you run in front of a little rock, he'll jump over it. He'll take care of it. He'll just keep
Nice.
going. He's like, I'm going. I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
It really is those little things where it's like, just, if you're
Yeah.
going to make me do all the traveling, let me get from A to B. Yeah, just, yeah.
And the fast travel is like, as long as you find whatever you find, it's quick, easy, fast, and I've used it just about every time. It's like, well, I need to get here, so I'm just gonna hop over here.
I abuse fast travel if they give it to me in a game. I don't need all that traveling to and from one end of the world to the next.
I mean,
but it's just personal preference.
Sure. Now, unless I'm looking for something, because I have spent a lot of time kind of fleshing out the map, that's about it. But beyond that, I don't care.
Yeah.
Just let me get there, damn it. So, but yeah, that's what I've been doing and probably will be doing for the next couple of weeks.
Nice.
Maybe not that long. Who knows? I don't know. Todd said it's not that long, or it's 40
I
hours.
don't remember. The hubs didn't. Maybe a week. Maybe.
That's probably constant.
But he does like to do like a new game plus run, usually a little bit afterwards, and I'll have no idea when that started. May not beat it that way, but sometimes like, let's just for fun see how crazy it is now, you know.
But no, I can't imagine. I mean, if I stayed if I didn't do the things that I was gonna do and I just spent all week,
right?
Yeah, sure, I'll beat it.
Get through it.
But I need to work. I need to do things.
Gotta mix it up. Mix it up.
Well, what do you got in the way of news?
We have quite a few things that have popped off this week that I thought worth mentioning. We probably are exhausted about talking about Apple, but those of you with Apple devices might have actually caught a break this week. So, reading a report from Reuters this week, Apple actually plans to start a program to lower its App Store commissions for software devs who make $1 million or less a year from the store. So trying to help out the smaller developers on the store. So as we have discussed, of course, ad nauseum, the whole Apple takes 30% cut and yada, yada. But now it says it will only take a 15% cut if they meet the above conditions in one calendar year. Although people are accusing Apple, of course, of it being a calculated move to divide app developers and keep their monopolistic hold on their own market. Damned if you do, damned if you don't situation here. But of course, this is Sweeney stirring the pot, because I think that's now just his life goal, is to be arch nemesis of Tim Cook. But Apple confirms that this applies to all devs equally within those limits and provides an easy way to reach its huge user base of users without having to set up a payment plan on your own. So apparently it might only affect about 1% of Apple's revenue, but we've yet to determine how much goodwill with the devs this will create. But sorry, Sweeney, you make too much money. So now you're probably just accused, you're just making up rules, I can't get in on. It's like, the rich want to eat the rich here. Capcom kind of had a rough week too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, last week Capcom told us out of their sales and financial information was stolen in a major hack last week. Yeah, it was later discovered it was a ransomware attack and that 350,000 pieces of personal information may have been stolen. Some speculate, and I think we actually already got proof of this, that unannounced games were leaked, information, calendar year plans, things of that nature. So if you're the type that hates spoilers, now's probably a good time to do that whole block word search on your Twitters or your Facebooks or whatever you do to try to not get spoiled. But on November 16th, it was confirmed that, in fact, sales reports, financial info, and 9 employees' personal info had been hacked. Word still isn't fully in on how many customers' information was compromised, as well as business partners, because those logs apparently seem to be lost at this time. So your personal information, such as your address, phone number, birthday, etc., may have been hacked. But they assure us that somehow no one's credit card info appears to have been stolen. So I don't know how those things get stored in a system to where your credit card is away from everything else. Or if that's just something they're trying to get people to calm down. Like, yeah, everyone can stalk you, but they won't buy things on your stuff. So But Capcom has said that they have been reaching out to those that they do know for sure whose information has been stolen or compromised. And you can contact their customer service if you want to inquire about your own information. So the full list of verified compromised information is on their website if you would like to know more about what has absolutely been stolen and what they're still looking into. So I don't know too many online services with Capcom, so like maybe that's how I've dodged this bullet this whole time.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that I have an account or anything with it, but
I don't.
That's
I don't
rough.
have anything.
It's rough. Yeah, I don't have anything on it either. I think the day Steam gets broken into is probably going to be my big demise, but I still think it's only my other PayPal account. So even then, it's like my actual stuff isn't on there, but it's fine. Well,
speaking of Capcom, real quick,
yeah.
did you happen to see that the Chinese Monster Hunter trailer where they actually showed a Palico?
I watched whichever trailer you showed me.
I feel like I probably sent that to you.
Because
Maybe I did.
because I feel like there was a Palico at the end, and
Yeah,
then I
right-
kind of
right at the
complained
end.
where I wanted it to be more adorable, and I needed to
Oh, yeah.
like start a Twitter storm about it. You know,
Yeah.
Sonic got changed.
Yeah, exactly.
I pretend like I
But-
have any kind of weight.
This one looked like because I don't know if he's been in any other games. I mean, I love the games and all, but I'm not hardcore. I got to go buy every single one of them. But it looked like the one from Monster Hunter World. I was like, oh,
Actually,
that's
that
the
trailer
guy.
gave a little faith. It looked like they are at least focusing in the game world, regardless of whatever idiotic storyline they thought they needed to get them there. So we'll see. I mean, it actually looks like it's set in that world and everything. So
Yeah.
maybe people will be happy with it. Or maybe
Christmas.
we were just different and everybody else was fine with it in the first place. I don't know.
Christmas Day, if you're interested, Christmas Day.
And
In theaters.
wherever
I don't know
will
about-
be, yeah,
I don't know about
that's
streaming.
allowed or not.
No, which
We'll see.
Well, I hate to keep going off on tangents, but I keep remembering. So that's coming out on Christmas Day in theaters. I would assume, hopefully, because I'm not going out. I don't know about you. I'm not.
I
going
just
out to see it.
assume this is how we live now, is just indoors.
So that's going to be there. Hopefully, video on demand, premium video on demand, whatever the hell they've got to do to make their money in theaters or not. But if it thinks it's going to topple Wonder Woman, which is also coming out on Christmas Day on HBO Max at home.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah.
Plus, Disney has a Pixar movie going to be on Disney Plus on Christmas Day too.
Oh,
So
Jesus
who
Christ.
the hell is going to go out? Look, except that I don't want to see Monster Hunter, but who the hell is going to go out when you
It's-
have two perfectly good movies sitting at home?
I feel like that's going to change. We've still got a whole month for them to, I don't know, but I feel like that plan's probably going to change the
No,
closer to Christmas we get.
So far, these are confirmed things. They're coming out Christmas Day.
know.
I know what I'm going to be doing Christmas Day. I'm going to be watching Wonder Woman 84 and Soul in my house.
There you go.
That's it.
I'm sure I'll be inside somewhere, wherever that will be. I don't go out anyway.
That's okay.
Let's see. Nintendo had a little bit this week. As we have all known, Nintendo's never been one to shy away from a lawsuit if it feels like its IP has been stolen. Well, this week was no different. Nintendo of America has filed a lawsuit this week against the Amazon seller, whose name is Lee Hong Min. Sure, I totally said that wrong, so I apologize. But they're getting sued for skating Nintendo's copyright protections by selling an RCM loader, which is the thing that actually hacks into the Nintendo Switch to jailbreak it. So for doing this, players can now pirate games. So the company is asking the courts to stop Min from selling these loaders for $2,500 in damages per sale. So I have no idea how many of these this person has sold, but Nintendo sent out that DMCA notice, but the seller has now filed a counterclaim, and because of that, Amazon was required to relist it. I don't know these laws, so they had to put him back up to sell them again. It seems like such a mess. But Nintendo filed an infringement lawsuit, which the company then did, So it was thought that Mint is using preloaders from Team Executor Software, which, as I was looking into it, apparently is a company that was already arrested with 11 felony counts in relation to selling illegal hardware. So
Wonderful.
Probably another reason why Nintendo's like, oh, wait, are they with them? Then yeah, no, we gotta get this person off there. So at this time, they're no longer listed on Amazon, but those RCM loaders are still available to find from different sellers. So Nintendo's probably going to be in this one for a little bit, trying to get all those off of there. But let's see. Let's end the big news on launch week stuff. That was pretty much on everyone's minds the week before. Had a nice podcast last week where they got to hands-on material from the other brother. So we got those first impressions, but we have some other reports, of course, that have been coming out about how both of these consoles fared during their respective launch weeks once people got their hands on them. So starting with the PS5, though, on a good note, their first week sales sold 118,000 units. Unfortunately, Xbox sold 21,000 in 6 days, but that's not that shocking. Xbox, Microsoft has pretty much been NA, more focused. So we've seen the efforts that they've made to try to expand that market, but it's bigger than the ones prior. So we're doing good. But PS5 has had some reported issues. The price you pay for early adoption that I know that we've talked about here, and which is why I usually wait before pulling the trigger myself. But they have had what they're calling the PS5 download queue bug, which is preventing some users from downloading or even starting games altogether. IGN, one of their reviewers, noticed that some games with download errors just disappeared from the queue, and then the PS Store will say that you don't even own that title, preventing you from playing altogether. Only known fix for that one right now is a full factory reset from what I've read, so that sucks. But I guess you haven't had it long enough to lose a whole bunch of stuff, so maybe silver lining. Let's see, rest mode crashes have also been reported. On the PS5, it's been causing, in some cases, a hard crash when it's doing database rebuilds. Some members of the press have even said they've had crashes in Godfall and Demon's Souls while these rebuilds are happening, and in rare cases bricked the system altogether. At least that was rare. The fix for that one so far has just quit the software before going into rest mode, or just turn off rest mode's feature altogether until that gets fixed. There was one in the case of when they were playing Spider-Man, the remaster, crashing with the PS4 version while running on an external hard drive. So Insomniac has addressed that one and said that they are actually working on that fix right now. So some cross-gen titles have had a hard time that the system will default to the PS4 version, oddly. If you have one that's got both, a lot of them seem like it was in certain games. A lot of it seemed to be like Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War reported that particular one more often than not. So I'm guessing in some cases, if you have you bought the remastered PS5 version and you have both, because you know how some games are you can PS4 and PS5, for some reason the PS5 wants to default to the PS4 version instead of its upgraded one.
See, now that was actually something that Todd mentioned, and
it did
probably in the podcast. Well, it was how it operated. So I'm under the assumption, because I mean he's disc for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he had a disc for Miles Morales, but when he went to play it, there was an option there. Do you want to play the PlayStation 4 version or the 5? And I'm sitting there thinking, why would you give me that option? I mean,
yeah,
I have
would
a
think
5.
You're on the 5, go to 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the 5. I have a disc for the 5. Why are you asking me if I want to go to the 4 version? What would be the purpose for that?
Yeah.
Performance, but you want the best performance, so why would you default to the lesser?
Right, or I would have just played my PS4.
Yeah.
So apparently that's not supposed to be the case. So we'll see how long it takes for Sony to get around to fix that one. So it seems like a little rough patches here. But all that they've acknowledged and are working on it. So let's be fair. What has Xbox been experiencing on its first weeks here? Well, there have been reports of malfunctioning disk drives, that the disk just won't, it doesn't want it, doesn't want to take it, and some worrying loud noises from the machine. This isn't a widespread thing, so these are just little reports that I've been finding here or there. Also, one console breaking bug that stops the hardware from even turning on, but that one seemed like a very, very small case of people. And also rare reports of connectivity issues between the wireless controller and the console, which you get latency like that, and that blows. It almost kind of gets to the point where you can't even play the game. Some users said it would just randomly shut down in the middle of a game. This is actually a pretty widely reported one and affects a lot of titles, not just specific ones, like in the PS5 situation. So there doesn't seem to be a workaround at the moment. So you'll have to wait for a patch if it's just shutting itself down. Quick Resume hasn't been working as properly on all games like it was initially promised either, and the fix is coming for that one as soon as well. So how did each launch week fare? Almost seems like PlayStation had a little bit harder of a time just because there's so many different ones. I don't know. Let us know. Did you guys get any of the consoles? Are you experiencing any of these? One that I didn't mention here that's just bothering you. Maybe you're lucky and you got it all.
Maybe
just fine. Perfect.
I mean, trying to get a PlayStation 5 has been a nightmare because I'm not dying for it. You know, it's not like I'm not going to go to eBay and pay $1,500.
Oh, yeah.
No way. Absolutely not. That's just not happening. In fact, there was even like a Best Buy. They had some in stock, but it was all bundles, and even that I was just like, no, because now granted it's a good deal. It was just like, hey, get this bundle and you get this controller and you get this camera and you get all. Sure, but when you're looking at the price tags like over $800, damn near $900, you're just like, I want the console.
Right.
I mean, I know I will probably pay this amount of money at some point in time, but right now I just want that.
Yeah, we need to parse it out so we don't feel like we're making as large of an investment as we actually are. Need to spread it out a little. Yeah.
If you could, but yeah, that made me hesitate because I was just like,
dude, if we all just wait, I bet you even 4 months. It's not even going to be an issue to find anymore. They'll be caught up on production. Holidays will be over. Just give it some time. I mean, unless you have FU money and you just like supporting scalpers, then, you do you, I guess, but outside of that, just patience, people. Just patience. And it probably won't have any of these bugs we're talking about right now. They'll have already gotten those patched and everything. And then day one, you can just be playing. And there'll be more games to play. See, look, I'm giving you reasons to save your money for a moment. But while we're still on launch week, kind of a weird news that I'm going to throw in before Quick Hits, because since we're still talking about the PlayStation here, some players who bought their consoles on Amazon UK reports receiving something a little different when they thought their consoles were going to be showing up that day. Some users have posted that they bought their PS5 consoles and they didn't arrive on launch day like they had hoped. Instead, some users got an air fryer, a coffee machine. One user said they got a foot massager. One even got cat food. None of them got a PS5, mind you, which is what they originally thought that they were purchasing. Even some said they just got straight up an empty box. Yeah, Good times. So in a statement issued to VGC on Amazon, a UK spokesperson said, "We're all about making our customers happy, and that hasn't happened for a small portion of these orders. We're really sorry about that and are investigating what happened. We're reaching out to every customer who's had the problem and made us aware so we can put it right. You can contact our customer service team for help." Now, you would think that would help fix the problem, right? ASAP. But when asked when customers could actually expect the console, like they, originally ordered through Amazon UK, Amazon said, we always know when new stock will be available, so we recommend when customers sign up via email me when available, when on an individual product detail page, to be alerted when the item is available for purchase.
No.
So in other words, just keep shopping, man. And I'm sure you'll get lucky again one day. So I hope they got a refund and got to keep like the air fryer and stuff, because while that's not what I wanted, I'd still use it. Those are actually pretty delicious.
If it's at least a consolation, because if you're not going to give me what I paid for, and not even guarantee that I will get the next one you have in, I'd have been raising holy hell. No, it's like, I paid for this.
Right?
That's not
I'm
how
pretty
this works.
sure that it shouldn't be $500 for a coffee machine, but I don't know your life and what kind of coffee you drink. But there was a few more rumors people were throwing around as well. Some are alleging that the delivery drivers of these consoles might be to blame for the empty boxes. Now, I don't want to throw that out there, because like, unless you've got hardcore proof, people just instantly, if something's missing or doesn't arrive when they think it is, nefarious thoughts first thing, right? Like accusing them of marking the item as delivered and never actually getting out of their car. So yeah, you can find that stuff there on Reddit. I don't know. He's the one Reddit user supposedly has proof of a driver doing this. And then Amazon said, oh, well, we might refund you for that, but we're not actually going to look into it or contact the driver. So I'm starting to think some of these are just because people are butthurt they didn't get it exactly when they wanted to. But these people who didn't even get the item they ordered, dude, you got to make that right. Don't tell them to go shopping and hit email alerts. Like, freaking send it to them. Like, come on. So, yeah. So that's the big news. Couple of little quickets here. People are excited about this one. I wasn't brought up as a big fan in it, but IO Interactive coming out with a James Bond game called Project 007 right now. Now, the trailer didn't give us a whole lot, but just a nice little tease. I know a lot of people who are excited for this because they really enjoyed Bond. They like what IO's been doing with Hitman. Here we go, right? But they did say it's a wholly new project with a brand new story, and it's actually the origin story is what I was reading. So it could actually be a little bit more interesting. They're promising a brand new experience out of James Bond that you've never had before. So
okay,
still a while, still a ways out. I mean, it could be fun. I know those who were like huge fans of the James Bond games and stuff like that. Like, they're the ones that are super excited for it. So congratulations. I hope it turns out well. Here's a fun one. Did you know for a brief moment last week you could buy your way into affiliateship with Twitch?
No.
Oh yeah,
I
oh yeah. If grinding for those 3 viewers became too much for you for a moment in time, Monster Cat teamed up with Twitch, which, if you don't know who Monster Cat is, they actually do like electronic music on Twitch. It's their own stuff, so obviously they're allowed to play it because we know the DMCA has been looming hardcore. And you could subscribe to their channel, and then you're allowed to play the music on your channel as well, right? So that's like you getting a license for Monster Cat. Well, they teamed up, and you could have paid that $5 and also got affiliateship with that $5 so you could monetize in your channel. Okay. Offer's no longer valid, but I think it's hilarious. You wanted to pay $5 a month to maybe get $2.50 back from your mom who subbed to your channel for you. I don't know.
Right.
Anyway.
I mean, good for them, I guess.
I guess when I saw that, I'm like, wait, Twitch. One of these days I'll open up Twitch news and it won't be depressing and make you want to cry. Assassin's Creed Valhalla broke a series record in their launch last week, believe it or not. So now it has sold more copies than any other Assassin's Creed games on launch. So
wow.
GG, well done, I guess. There you go. All right, yeah, let's just do this one and then we'll move on. Cyberpunk had 2 Night City wires this week, so we're getting close to wrapping all that up. They showed us the game on both the next gen systems. But there is an important distinction to make here, because I was reading a lot of Hubaloo, because obviously you can see like a little bit of a performance difference from this to that. Just keep in mind the game was running on a Series X, but not an upgraded, patched for Series X version. If that helps some people who were like, "Ooh, that doesn't look good," or just it wasn't patched to that newest one yet. So while it was nice to see, we still weren't seeing fully what it would be like. I think it's hard to do from home anyway, because you're still relying on the quality of your monitor, your TV, or whatever. But so the quality didn't look as awesome as some people might have expected. But I mean, I'll be going to PC probably anyway, so I'll just have to wait and see how that runs on my system. But we did have a breakdown of seeing more Keanu being in the game, so that was fun. You could recommend checking it out. Like, they did some behind the scenes stuff and watched him doing his mocap and stuff like that. So if you're into those kinds of things, go check out the second one that they put up there. So that was fun. If you like Keanu. Now, before the headliner, because I noticed this will be like, I guess, an in-between section. The Game Awards was announced. It's going to be going up on December 10th. We've always kind of done like a let's kind of pick who we think's going to win thing with Game Awards. I didn't do all of them, obviously, but I picked out a few that I thought you and I could sit here and try to see. And then when we come back from break, like we do, let's see if we nailed any of these Game Awards being doled out. So if you guys are aware, like I just said, we'll find out December 10th is when the Game Awards is airing. And I picked out a few that I thought we would actually kind of know about, because there's a lot in there for like esports and stuff that we're not. And I don't think anyone comes here for esports anyway. So so we're going to be fine with that. So I did put in Content Creator of the Year just because, you know, you might have heard of one or two of those. So we'll just start there. We'll just get the Content Creator of the Year out of the way. So, and even I don't really know who they are, but it'll be fun to see. Like, I've heard of 3 of them. Alana Pierce. Exactly. I don't know either. J.Ann Lopez, which I feel bad because I wish, especially when it's like higher up women creators, since they only make up like such a small bulk of the top 10 anyway, if more than one. But Nick Merckx is on there, which I know we've reported about him before, I believe, and stuff. Tim the Tatman or Valkyrie.
Heard the name.
So those are your choices. Alana Pierce, J.N. Lopez, Nick Merckx, Tim the Tatman, or Valkyrie.
I will allow my vote to be cast for anybody that you say.
I was going to say Tim the Tatman, just because I've heard of him. So I'm being completely stupid in how I'm choosing it. But I've heard of him and I've heard of Valkyrie.
Okay, then I tell you what. I'll go with Valkyrie since I've heard of her too. And then that way we'll have like a split.
That's how I would do it. Perfect. All right. But moving on. Best debut game. Indie games. Carrion. Mortal Shell. Raji, an Ancient Epic, which I haven't heard of. I feel bad. Roki or Phasmophobia, which I know that's been taking over a little bit here lately as well. Different than
I might have to give it to Phasmophobia because it's been getting a lot of traction here lately.
It really has. It really has, especially like people have been doing a lot of VR ports for it too, like trying to get that going. You know what? I'm gonna say Carrion.
That would have been my
to be a little
second.
obstinate as well.
But
I know that one. Although I think Phasmophobia might be because like things that release closer to when the awards happen, I feel like do tend to do better because it's fresher in people's minds. But the best fighting game, figured you might have some teeth in this one. I've not heard of this first one though, but the first one is Grand Blue Fantasy : versus, of course, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate Edition, Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition.
Again? All right, continue.
Just telling you what was on there, man. One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows, or Under Night in Birth EXE.
I know One Punch Man.
I know one. I've heard of the cartoon. I don't know of the game. Or
You're
should
gonna
I not
get
call it a cartoon?
berated.
Sorry, I am
It's an
so
anime.
gonna get canceled.
How
You're
dare
right.
you?
I know. As soon as it left my mouth, I'm like, I can already hear the cries.
How dare you call anime cartoon?
It's not a cartoon. I know.
It's not
I'm
a
sorry.
simple cartoon, Lace.
It was a slip. Sorry.
Anyway, Mortal
know it's
Kombat
serious
11
stuff.
because it's the high dollar one. They're probably going to pay for their win, so go for it.
It says pay for the win. Mortal Kombat. You know what though? I'm gonna go with that one too. It's because people liked it, did
Yeah.
well. It seemed like, and they're still gonna get a lot of updates for it. But best action adventure game:
Okay.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima,
Ooh.
Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, or The Last of Us Part 2.
All right.
Some difficult ones in here.
We all know if Todd were here, his vote
Oh,
would
yeah.
be
Last
for The
of Us.
Last of Us Part 2 because he loves that game.
It's a great game.
It
Good
is.
story.
But, me personally,
Mm-hmm.
I, despite only being so far into it, will have to give it to Ghost of Tsushima right now because it has been a lot of fun. Now, that being said, Last of Us Part 2, structurally great narratives, gorgeous game, all this other stuff, but I don't know what people, like how people are voting, and it got so much hatred because
it did.
of
Yeah.
social justice warrior bullshit people wanted to spout, which is completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But then there were the other arguments people made about violence begetting violence and so on and so forth. I really feel like people missed the nuance of the story. But
On purpose, probably, but yeah.
yeah, but I'm going to lean toward Ghost of Tsushima, even though I probably will say Assassin's Creed Valhalla will win.
That's actually where I'm going to put mine. Not a game for me, but I think it's been having a stellar year. I feel like people have been very receptive to it. We've heard about how well it sold. I think it might be. It might be. Now, will I agree with that? I don't play those games, but
Right.
I think it is. Best action game: Doom Eternal, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, Neo 2, or Streets of Rage 4 for best action game.
I'm going to, I've not played any of these, but
I've seen a few of them.
but Mammoth mentioned Hades the other day, so I think that's where I'm going to put my vote.
I was going to say, it's been getting, like, I feel like it's been out for a little bit, but I've seen, like, a new resurgence of fans. I like that guess. I think I'm going to go with Half-Life.
Okay.
I think I'm going to try that out. I feel like it came and went very quickly, and it's still going to be a small core group of people, especially with them doing it VR. But long-awaited game, I'll roll the dice and see. With that being said, best VR game.
Okay.
We've played a little. So Dreams on the PlayStation, Half-Life Alyx, Marvel's Iron Man, Star Wars Squadrons, or, and this one kind of surprised me it was on there, but The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners.
I think it's going to be a toss-up between Alex and Iron Man. I think I'm going to put my vote on Iron Man because I personally was impressed with what they were able to do with the PlayStation VR, doing something that had not been done with that software, like in this way.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah, it
feel
was
like
great.
they really stepped up or stepped out of what has been done prior and really allowed it to breathe. If only it were wireless.
Right. Oh,
My God. It
Right.
would be amazing.
That would be. No, that game was great. I never played the whole thing. I think I only did the demo. I'll have to go back.
But
see
it
when
was
it's on a sale.
Yeah. If it wasn't so tedious hooking everything up and making sure everything's working and oh my God and all this other stuff, I probably would have beaten the game by now. But it's just as soon as you get out of it, it's like, that was fun, but I gotta unhook it all and I gotta put it on.
Gotta do everything again. Yeah.
I think that's the only thing that keeps me from playing them more is just the
That's
time
fair.
consumption of setting it all up and then isolating the entire room.
I hope they do that for the 5, man. I hope.
Mm-hmm.
I hope. See, this one's kind of harder for me too. I might go Star Wars Squadrons.
I did hear that they did kind of an interesting VR session with that, and considering I think it was on Battlefront, the first Battlefront game that came out, they did add like a 30-minute X-Wing mission that you could, pop in and go for VR. And that, oh my God, I loved it. It was this nice little, because you always wanted to know what it felt like to fly an X-Wing. And it was just like it even got me, I guess the way it was controlled, it got me a little queasy because the way it was moving is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, I'm in an X-Wing, and then I'm going past
I feel like that would make me lose my lunch for sure.
It caught me off guard because I wasn't expecting that motion sickness to kind of hit me like that. But again, it testament to how well it was designed and how well it controlled. Like, the hell with the rest of the game. I just played that several times because like, this is fucking amazing. I'm in an X-Wing.
It is cool.
Yeah.
If I could keep my lunch down. I don't know. I haven't played in a while. I need to pop the VR back in before Facebook kills it for me altogether when I can't even get on anymore.
I mean, I might have to, if Squadrons, because I'm still waiting to get Fallen Jedi. Is that what it's called? Fallen Jedi?
Fallen, yeah.
Yeah.
Jedi,
Fallen Order.
I just said it too.
Fallen
Order.
Order.
Fallen Order.
Yeah, whatever. That's Star Wars game.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
I'm just, I'm waiting for a deal that I am comfortable with to say, this is what I want to pay for this game. So
Especially
same with,
for EA.
Yeah, because it's EA, and that's why I don't want to put top dollar on it. Same with Squadrons. If, it's a deal, and then I get to play it in VR, okay.
Why not?
But, they may also fall by the wayside because, hey, this life cycle for the PlayStation 4 is going to disappear, and then from on the 5, then
gonna see it.
just gonna pass you by.
I don't know. I feel like like even the 3 was supported for a couple of years after, so we'll probably get a little good more. Let's see here. Best indie game: Carrion, Fall Guys, Hades, Spelunky 2, or Spiritfarer.
Now, I will say I am disappointed because, we were touting it for so long. The Game Awards have destroyed any chance of that happening. Is that Evergate was supposed to be Game of the Year.
Right?
Indie Game of the Year. Even now, it's not even on the list, and it's a damn shame.
We need to learn the jury pool here, or whoever's picking this stuff.
Because it got acclaim. We were championing it for several years now, and it's a shame that it didn't get nominated for anything.
I'm telling you, man.
But that being said,
write in our vote.
Yeah, I would love to. if I knew it had some pull, by God, I would do it. I'm gonna have to give it to Fall Guys because I feel like that was the Cinderella story this year.
Right?
Like
it
it
really
just
was.
came out of nowhere and then boom, blew up.
I think I'm gonna go Hades on this one. Okay. See how we fare on that. So now the last 3 here are probably ones we would be paying attention to anyway. So, best performance: Ashley Johnson as Ellie, Laura Bailey as Abby, Daisuke Tsuji, I think I said that right, as Jin Sakai in Ghost of Tsushima. I hope I said it right. Logan Cunningham as Hades, or Najee Jeter as Miles Morales?
Man, why do they got to make it so hard?
I know.
Oh.
This one is hard.
Damn it. I think I'm going to defer my vote to The Last of Us because of the emotional story. And I guess between the two, because Laura Bailey,
I was gonna say you got two now. Yeah.
Ashley Johnson, they killed it.
It was great performances.
You know what? Damn, this is hard. I'm gonna give it to Laura Bailey simply because she had to make this character likable in some way.
Yeah.
Even though, mocap or whatever, but you had to find a way to make this character, because you hate her from the moment she does what she does. Kill Joel if you don't know. Spoilers.
And you just say it out.
It's look how long it's been. If you haven't played it by now, damn it.
But still. But yes, bad things happened.
And it happens at the beginning of the game, damn it, there's a whole game that you get to. Anyway, she had to take that character and make you sympathize with her, and even in the most remote way, because it was hard for me. It was hard for that disconnect for me to just go,
this is how it is now, yeah.
Yeah, because you're so conflicted because you know what she did, and you're just like, God, I hate this person, but then you're starting to see her side of it, and you're just like, man. And you see the
this
parallel.
is why they say dialogue, man.
Yeah.
There's two sides to every story.
Exactly, and that's the beauty of that game, and that's one of the reasons I think that's one of the biggest things a lot of people missed is understanding what the story meant. Nuance, people, damn it. But
that should be the word of the year.
Yeah.
Or learn it.
Define nuance, learn what it is, and then start using it in your daily routine. But that was very difficult. And again, props to Ashley Johnson for everything that she did in that game, because I'm sure that was an emotional roller coaster. But Laura Bailey had to make me like her character. And she pulled it off.
And she did it. So that's all fantastic reasons. You know what? Just to be on the other end, I'll choose Ashley.
Okay.
Because they both were good performances. Honestly, I think anybody off of this list, I wouldn't get sad about at all, because I think they all crushed their respective games that they were in. So we weren't. It's one thing you can say lately, games. You're not lack of good voice actors, good actors, just in general.
Yeah.
So let's see. Best narrative. Before we get to Game of the Year, of course. So the best narrative, 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. I unfortunately don't know that one, so I apologize. Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, or The Last of Us 2. It's your best narratives. I feel bad because the 13 Sentinels I don't know at all. So I feel like that's not going to get a fair shake for me.
Okay. For narrative, I'll give this
for best narrative.
I'll give this one to The Last of Us Part 2. Because again, the nuance we were speaking of just a moment ago. Not to say that any of the other games don't have good narratives. They do. From what I've seen. I've even forgotten some of them as you mentioned, but I remember as you were saying them, I was like, that's a good story. That's a good story. That's a good story. But The Last of Us Part 2 did something that I feel like we all kind of felt was impossible, which was to make a sequel to the first game,
right?
And make it a good one, and they did, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you've got problems with it because they're women, go to hell, moron.
Right?
Yeah, I'm saying that to you. I'm saying that to you. If you're listening to the show, you better get up. You should have been on board by now.
A long time ago. But I agree with you on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you on this one. I think I'm gonna go for The Last of Us Part 2 as well. All right. So now for Game of the Year. We got to get this one above all else.
Okay.
Why? I don't know. But for Game of the Year, Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing New Horizons or The Last of Us Part 2. I think we see a theme here. I feel like a lot of Hades, a lot of Ghost of Tsushima, a lot of Last of Us 2 love.
So, Animal Crossing's out. I don't even know why it's on the list.
Yeah, I don't even bet it's there.
I'm sure that it was amazing for people to have during the time.
It got people through quarantine.
Yeah, it did.
Maybe that's why it's going to hold that special place, because it released about that time.
But it's the same. You put a different spin on. You put a new coat of paint on it. That's all you did.
Exactly.
I really wish I knew a little bit more about Hades, because I feel
too.
like I'm missing something here. Again, heard great things.
Maybe we need to go back.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. I did speak very highly of Final Fantasy VII Remake, but I can't give it to that. It was great.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous, but I'm gonna pass on that. What else was there outside of Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us Part 2?
Doom Eternal.
Doom Eternal. No, I can't. I can't give that anything.
Yeah. Which I find interesting. Doom made it. Just side note, because I feel like it released it. It was right at the same time as Animal Crossing, because we had that cute like crossover moment with the fandoms, and then Doom got delayed a little bit or released earlier, or whatever there was. Now I don't remember, but then it was like on sale like 2 weeks later. So I thought Doom wasn't even doing that well. But what do I know?
Yeah.
But what do I know?
I mean,
so when I saw it as the first one up there, I was like, really? I thought we were just done with that one now. But
maybe they need filler.
maybe I just don't understand the fandom well enough, which is fair.
Yeah. It's something I'll play at some point, maybe. I mean, I didn't realize I would play the first one, or the remake of the first one, and then I did, and I was like, oh, it's kind of fun. So I might play this one at some point. It's not at the top of my list.
Right.
So between Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2, knowing what I know, I guess I'm going to defer to Ghost of Tsushima in this, because I'm having... I don't want to say like it's more fun, but it kind of is, because there's not that... I mean, even... I will say this, and I guess so it doesn't feel like I'm being biased in any way. I mean, I was actually exploring the island that I'm on and realizing how dark, I guess, the setting is and how sad it is, thinking that this could have, or probably did happen at some point, where it was just villages just burned to the ground or ransacked. You see bodies hanging from trees. You see bodies just laying off, tied with spears stuck in them. It's like, Jesus Christ, man, what the hell is wrong with people? And I know that it's not like the designers like, hey, this would be really cool. It's just like, no, this is, historically accurate to the time and what was going on during this war. So presentation. And I hate walking into these towns seeing these people ransacked and sad, because I'm just like, well, I'm going to go kill somebody, because it just makes me mad.
Right. If that was the emotion, you got it.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to say Hades.
Okay.
I feel like it got a lot of love. And since I feel like I slept on it, I think that might be the one to just kind of come out maybe at the end and just surprise us all.
Sure.
Who knows? So let's do that. All right. Well, we've got it locked in. It might be our... when we come back from our holidays break.
Well, we
see
might
how
actually
good we did.
We might actually be able to talk about it this year. We'll see. Maybe.
That's true. December 10th. We'll see. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think we got it lined up. We'll figure it out. I'm
We'll
planning
get it figured
ahead
out.
now that we've set up a better system. I can plan
Oh,
ahead,
yes.
and I'm just like,
Plans.
aha.
What?
So
Seat of the pants, always.
that's right.
But that's all I got.
Okay.
So, of course, pass it off to Steven for our headliner of the day.
Yes. Well, I've got an interesting headliner. I'm doing a little bit of a retro review, but also kind of a little history lesson within that retro review. So, talking about something I've wanted to talk about, and I needed a filler. So I was just like, now's the time. Now's the time.
Now's when we do it.
So I'm hopping back in time to discuss a game series that has always fascinated and annoyed me at the same time. As a kid, I played this. I don't understand why it fascinated me so much. I guess there was just something about the aesthetic about it, and I was just, as a kid, I'm just like, yeah, I want to play that because it's different, it's cool, it's not because we didn't have a lot of variety back then. You had to take what we could get, and when you saw something that added a new element or changed the game up, do you know how mind blown I was when I saw Mario with a raccoon tail and some ears?
Right.
I was like,
and like bubbly looking.
Yeah.
It wasn't just flat and or as flat looking.
you're just like, oh my god, he can fly now. But it's still Mario Brothers, but they can fly now. So it's we didn't have all the games you kids have today. We had to make do with the limited supply that we had. But anyway. I probably saw potential of a solid game. I kept getting drawn into it. The annoyance part came from the game's difficulty level and my experience or inexperience as a gamer at the time. But I kept coming back to it. I kept trying. I never beat it that I ever remember. I don't think I ever made it to the end. But I kept trying. It was something I'd always go back to the video store and rent, and you'd come back and it'd be like, oh, play this game. And then a couple of months later, I'd be like, I want to play this game again.
Right.
So,
enough distance has passed.
So what was this game, you ask? If you've seen the icon, you probably already know. But for those of you who just live in mystery, I'm talking about Adventure Island. Now, Lace, do you know Adventure Island?
I don't know that I do, but we've learned in my old age I don't remember the names of much and nothing.
Well, if you don't know what Adventure Island is and you feel like you should, you might be familiar with the game under another title, Wonder Boy. Now, if you're asking, what the hell is Wonder Boy? Well, just go lie down somewhere because you're only going to hurt yourself at this point. Is there a story behind this? Sure. Is it interesting? I mean, that's up to you. I don't know.
The eye of the beholder.
I mean, not as such, but I am reminded of the story of the Irishman. Why it's so funny? I don't know. I wish I could think of it. Anyway, in 1986, developer Escape created the game Wonder Boy for arcades. It was enough of a hit that it was ported over to home consoles such as the Sega Master System and the Sega Game Gear. Activision ported the game to the Commodore and the ZX Spectrum. However, when it came time for the port for the hottest commodity in gaming, the Nintendo Entertainment System, Escape was in a bit of a bind. You see, for some crazy reason, Escape made a deal with Sega in which they could retain the rights to the game's design while Sega obtained the rights to the Wonder Boy trademark. Why would they make such a deal? Sounded like a good idea at the time. In fact, when their lawyers were advised them to do so, they got new lawyers. Now, despite not having the name, Escape could still make the game just with a new coat of paint. So, Hudson Soft jumped on board and produced a carbon copy of the original game, but making the necessary tweaks to avoid any copyright infringement. First and foremost, the game's title went from Wonder Boy to Adventure Island. And then the main character, who was simply known as Wonder Boy, or even, I think, Tom Tom, which I thought that was a GPS device, was a generic caveman-esque character. And in fact,
that's what it looks like on the picture.
Yeah, and in fact, Hudson Soft could have used this character in Adventure Island, but they instead decided to make a few changes since they were already having to make changes. So why not change the character into something that was a little less generic and a little something that's kind of theirs? So Hudson Soft modeled and named their character after, here we go, Takahashi Meijin. Nailed that.
Sounds great. Yeah.
That's what I get for playing Ghost of Tsushima. I'm hearing these names all the time.
Right.
Takahashi was a spokesperson for Hudson Soft, so they pretty much created a little character out of this real person. Now, seeing as how Nintendo of America couldn't allow the Japanese to invade our shores again, the character made his way stateside under the name Master Higgins. What is he a master of? I didn't ask. Usually, masters have other people do things for them. They call them something, but I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, Master Higgins travels out to the South Pacific to rescue Princess Tina. Sounds like a real princess to me. Who's been taken by the evil witch doctor. Nice piece of old melodrama right there, kidnapping a girl.
Right.
I think they read too many dime novels when they came up with
damsel in
this.
distress.
And how does Higgins know that Tina doesn't have a sore throat and a fever? Fine way to treat a doctor doing his chosen profession, you know what I mean? Witch doctors. Anyway.
Telling you, man.
The rest of the game was ported almost exact, complete with 8 worlds comprising 4 stages each. A fairly standard layout at the time. Super Mario Brothers, that was 8 worlds, 4 stages, boom, done. Now, I mentioned annoyance earlier. This was compounded by frustration because of the gameplay. Now, how did the game play? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. Our main character had a health bar that consisted of 11 points, but they gradually run out as you're just walking along on its own, kind of like a timer. Something you can instantly make worse by tripping over rocks. Because rocks are a dangerous enemy.
Hazard.
Along the way, you can find fruit or milk, and this will replenish your diminishing health bar all the way up to a maximum of 16 whole bars.
What?
16, that's like 5 more than you had. However, it's not really a health bar as you would kind of think it's a health bar. Because, you see, you think having a health bar, if you had health, then when you got hurt, you would just kind of lose that health other than just tripping over rocks. But see, if you hit an enemy, you die.
Oh, it's like insta-death?
Yeah. So you have health, but you will die if you touch an enemy.
Is it permadeath too? Do you have to start the whole thing?
No. We didn't know about permadeath back then. We just had live, so 3 and you're done. Then you have to restart.
Permadeath, yeah.
So there's that crap.
We just didn't call it that yet.
Now, killing enemies is immediately a problem, seeing as how you have no weapons to defend yourself at the start of the game. You will eventually find a stone axe that will work on some enemies. Keep that in mind, some enemies.
Okay.
Others will require you to trade said axe for magic fireballs that you must find that are secretly hidden within the stage. So maybe you'll find it, maybe you won't. Who knows? You could be screwed. Speaking of magic, there's a bee fairy known as the Honey Girl. Oh,
Jesus.
That grants you invincibility. Now, that's a sweet and sticky situation if I ever heard one.
Oh, God.
Hey, they all can't be good jokes. You got to expect that once in a while. There's also a skateboard you can ride through. Does it help? Depends on your reflexes. You can hit that rock and then you're flying right.
I was just going to say, but the rocks, man.
Yeah, the rocks will screw you over. Once you get through 8 worlds, defeat the evil witch doctor at the end. You save the princess. Typical video game tropes. But they weren't tropes yet. So it wasn't played out. They were just getting started.
They were new ideas.
Yeah. The game was a modest success on the NES, which prompted a sequel. However, rather than copy another Wonder Boy title, Hudson Soft decided to forge their own path and do something different with the sequel. Ironically, it was Wonder Boy that shifted genres, going from side-scrolling platformer to an action RPG, whereas Adventure Island decided to build upon what they had already started with and just refine it. So how about that? They stuck with what they ripped off, and that's about that. So in 1991, Hudson Soft released Adventure Island 2, developed this time by Now Productions. And like most games of the day, the story beats are about the same as before. Princess is kidnapped and you go to the island and you gotta save her because, oh my God, my little guy, Princess Tina. The only difference here is that you were aided by 4 dinosaur pals. With their own unique abilities, now you're a master of something. You punch some. Anyway, How are they unique? They have elemental powers because that's the only thing we can ever come up with: fire, ice, water, and wind.
The rocks, man.
Yep, the rocks.
Rocks, man.
There were noticeable difference in the graphics. They actually looked much better than the first game. They did a nice little polish on it and made it look so much better and played a little bit better. A year later, the same company released Adventure Island 3. They added a crouch ability.
Ooh.
Because you're going to crouch around those rocks. A boomerang.
Like, but now you're closer.
Yeah.
How does that work?
You got a boomerang now because why not?
Fancy.
And get ready for it. A fifth dinosaur pal.
What? Is he cute?
I mean, he's a triceratops.
Okay.
I mean, the other four, you essentially had two of the same thing. One's red, one's blue, so you can imagine what their powers are, huh? Huh?
Got some fire and some water.
Yep. And then we've got a little Nessie-looking thing that could swim, and then there was a pterodactyl. They could fly. If you didn't know what pterodactyls do.
Yes. Got the wings.
That same year, Hudson Soft released Super Adventure Island for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, which played essentially like the first game, except you gained the boomerang in that game, but you don't have dinosaur pals. So you got to go back to playing old Adventure Island.
All by yourself.
And you know what's interesting? Hey, did you ever remember? Because as I was sitting there writing this, I was just like, you know what? It's just funny. You remember how in those games back then where you had like, here's your Nintendo version, but then here is your Super Nintendo version. Like, I even remember like Mega Man. There was like, here's 8-bit Mega Man. Now we've got Mega Man 7 on the Super Nintendo. And look at all this. Everything's big and everything's like, ooh, look at the detail. But it's always like so close to the screen. It's like, look how big it is. Look at the detail. I was like, why are you so close, man? Just back away.
Well, it's because we didn't have wireless controllers, man.
I guess.
We had to sit that close. You know, you had to sit on the floor because you had like maybe 2 feet of cord.
But it was always so amazing how, because it was like, this is the same game as you remember, but more detailed. You know, it was just really interesting how they did that. But Super Adventure Island 2 was the first game to change the format. See, I just went to the next one. Ironically, they adopted the action-adventure exploration elements of the later Wonder Boy games. So they just went right. They did it again.
The circle of life.
But from a story perspective now, if you were ever curious how these games narratively move forward, other than Princess Tina getting kidnapped and, you know, then he's got to go rescue her, and then we just do that whole dance all over again. In his Super Adventure Island 2, they got married.
Aww.
And they went on their honeymoon.
Nice.
But
Did she have a bad time on the honeymoon?
Well, he couldn't get it up. What happened was is a storm came through because for some reason they were going on a honeymoon and they were floating on a raft in the middle of the ocean because that's what you do on your honeymoon. A storm washes them away onto a mysterious island. Go figure, right? And then they both have mind-crushing amnesia.
What?
Yeah, they don't remember who anybody is. So Higgins is wandering around the island going, I don't know who I am. I don't know where I'm at. And then he comes across a kingdom. And they found a woman who didn't know who she was and didn't know where she was at. I was going
to say, how is she going to get taken?
Yeah.
Here we go.
So he's just like, he comes there, and for whatever reason, that you feel like that would have been the narrative right there. She winds up in this kingdom, and then she's like, I don't know who I am. And it was like, well, I got to get her back.
And
and
true love prevails through amnesia, as it does.
But no, they added an extra wrinkle. He doesn't just go to the kingdom to try to fight his way through the kingdom to get his girl back. No, she got kidnapped from the kingdom. So now he's got to go rescue this girl he doesn't remember because the king who kidnapped her technically lost her, and he's like, well, I found her and I want her back. Go get this woman for me. And it's like, well, why would you if you don't remember who you are, and why you're doing things. Why would you go? It's like, dude, I don't know who you are.
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, then. And that's...
Whoopsie.
So, the story just doesn't make any sense. And someone did say, hey, I'm going to need you to get all the way off my back about this.
Yes, they did.
Anyway, he rescues
If
her.
anybody knows what tangent
Yeah.
we're running on.
It's like a lion using a litter box. It doesn't sound right, but forget it. It's still a feline,
Right.
you know?
That's how it is.
Each of these games were fun and charming in their own way. I never remember beating them, like I said, but memories of playing them are faint. I remember having those memories and enjoying what I did, I guess, for the most part. Part 2, for whatever reason, is the only one I have real memories of, like, that always come back to me. Faint memories, but I remember them. Super Adventure Island, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
First one also being a close second, because obviously it was the first one that got me introduced to it, and I hated that game. You know, I always tried keeping coming back to it, and it was just like, I'm going to do it this time, and then I'd trip over a rock, and I'm like, stupid son of a... Anyway. You know, it was a fun little game. I don't know if I would want another one today. I don't pine for a new Adventure Island. I guess I would be interested to see what approach they would take. Would you go back to the old 2D format? Would you try to put some twists and turns on it? Would you add the dinosaur pals? What would you do different to make it enjoyable today? Because there may have been reasons they did that stupid health bar nonsense. I don't know. Most games
It could have
used a
been
timer.
trying to be unique, and then...
Yeah. And keep in mind, this was also an arcade game. So maybe that's what that element was
feeding the Mita.
That's right. You're like, you're gonna, if you die, I mean, you got a timer. There it is. It's your health. Bye bye.
Yep.
And then you're gonna have to feed it another quarter to keep going. Who knows? But something tells me it has a lot to do with it. I'm not sure what the proper approach would be, but if the day ever comes, you can leave it to Konami to ruin it, since they are the current rights holders to the franchise.
I was just going to say where did it end up, because I know Hudson's been gone for a while now.
In fact, we talked about that several episodes ago. Go back and check that out too. Yeah. But yeah, it's just I don't know if I want to see Master Higgins again. You know, he's a weird little guy.
Are they talking about it? Are they talking
No,
about it maybe?
Not that
No?
I know of. He's
I mean, we
popped
don't
up.
have original ideas left, so I'm sure it'll make the circuit. But
I mean,
'cause
he's
I was
popped
staring
up.
at the box art here, and it just doesn't ring a bell with me. It must not have been at the pawn shop. That's
Yeah,
where I
maybe
got
not.
all my Nintendo games was at the pawn shop down the corner from the house.
I mean, it was for what it is. You'll either remember it or you don't. And I feel like this is one of those that will probably be long forgotten. No one of today's generation who didn't grow up with it is going to remember it. And you know, if you ever had the opportunity to maybe pop in and play part 2, maybe. I mean, you've been listening to the catchy little tunes. I mean, they're all right. It's kind of whatever. I don't know what's going on right now. I'm just kind of making
Like I
up
don't
what I
get.
can remember. But it's all right. Yeah, if you get a chance to ever play it, give it a few minutes of your time. It's
Sure.
It's all right. That's all I
If
can.
you're of our generation, I don't know if younger ones could deal with it.
Yeah, that's true. They would probably be like, screw this, I don't like it.
It's like already visually unappealing. It's like, this can't be. Well,
Because, you know, millennials probably wouldn't like game over signs. Even when I was
gonna
surprised.
say, that's not really fair to say. Because like millennials are like old now. People need to
Okay.
stop blaming everything on
all
them.
right. Well,
They're like almost 40 for crying out loud. Like,
luckily I got
I'm just
outside of that
saying.
boat.
I keep hearing like these millennials are not, and I'm like, dude, they're like in their late 30s at this point. Like that's Z that we're getting pissed off at now. All right.
Okay, well,
we have to
whoever
throw
these,
around labels.
whoever these kids are that get so
Younger
mad
kids.
because they don't get a participation trophy.
Oh,
And that's
yeah,
why
that
we
was
don't do
pinned on
game
the
overs
millennials,
anymore.
though. Yeah, the participation was them. Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I got.
I always just feel like I have to defend them at this point because
That's
it's
fine.
like even back then they were the COVID spreaders at spring break. I'm like, BS. They were working and taking care of kids. They were not the age group at spring break. Okay,
It's a
Quit blaming them for everything.
well, I think it's just an easy term
We're
to
used
toss
to
out.
it now. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever this current generation is of kids who, I call them
We'll have to
trophy
save us
hunters.
all. We'll have to save us all.
Anyway.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure.
No pressure. No pressure. Well, fun. All right. Well, that's our show, guys. Nice beefy episode, I have to say. We have a lot of stuff going on this week. But that's it. You can hit us up sometime on Twitter at Super Mega Crash. Or you can send us an email at supermegacrash@gmail.com. You can find the weekly Instagram that Steven puts his time and love into, of course, on Instagram. You can support the show by liking and leaving reviews on your preferred platform and even going to patreon.com/pencil and paper productions. You can tell your friends, your enemies, your acquaintances, just randos anywhere to find us on the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network, or just search Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, and youtube.com/Pencil Paper Productions. Thank you for listening. I'm Lacey Finley.
And I am Stephen White.
You can join us again next time, Super Mega Crash siblings. But until then,
Game on.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.